And we are talking about She-Hulk episode 5, mean green and straight poured into those jeans. We are going to review the episode and then get into a full spoiler breakdown of the episode, starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social. I'm Nathan.
And
I'm Priya.
Hey, so it's a pretty short episode this week. The spoiler-free logline is She-Hulk discovers Titania owns the name She-Hulk and is suing her for trademark infringement. So, Priya, what did you think of this episode?
So fun. I mean, this show just really continues to be just fun, and it's like the MCU is kind of having fun, and they're experimenting and trying new things. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about that without getting into a spoiler. Sorry, but I think it's taking itself lightly, and I think that's kind of refreshing for a Marvel show, to be honest. And it just continues to kind of be fun. And now we see how, you know, we know that Titania is in the episode because of the logline, and we kind of see now this is kind of probably going to be the crux of it, because Titania is She-Hulk's arch nemesis in the comics, right? So it's an interesting modern spin on it. Curious to see where it goes, but it's just a fun show, and I find myself laughing a lot more than I usually do in a Marvel kind of universe. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Colin, what do you think?
yeah, just like I echo what Priya said about it being fun, but also I felt that it was very short. It was just like it's just like really fast, really short, and then boom, it's over already. And I remember you said one time, Nathan, I think in one of the previous episodes, that I just feel like a little bit regret that it was shorter than a lot of the other Disney Plus properties. But I think that at the same time, it's like it's good in some ways because you want more, but then I felt that in the other Disney properties, Disney Plus shows, it kind of felt too long. And I think that you mentioned before, Nathan, that I think it was like a couple of other things that we've reviewed that it felt too long and they should have cut this into like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. But I think that it's just right in that, yes, it does feel short, and it does kind of give us kind of in a we live very busy lives in a way where it's like, okay, well, let's get my She-Hulk hit for this week, and then have some laughs, have some fun, and then afterwards review it. I think it's just a good kind of just right Goldilocks type of thing going here.
Okay. So I feel like I'm going to be the downer again this week. So like, I like the episode, but it was again, I think it is too short for me. Not just right. It's like, and I complained about this last week. It's like, no, I'm not saying anything new. It's like, and this was the shortest episode of all of them. I think this is clocked in exactly at like 30 minutes and like a couple seconds. So it, I want more. It was okay, but because this is the shortest, it's probably my well, I was gonna say my least favorite. It was there definitely was some funny things in here, but I would probably still rate it lower than some of the other ones because less happened. Where some of the other episodes, I guess this had an A and B plot too, although the A and B plots in the previous episodes were court cases. Getting into what the B plot would be spoilers, but in this one, it's a B plot that doesn't get resolved. It's just like the episode ends abruptly. It doesn't get, and the B plot doesn't get resolved, which is a little annoying. I guess we have to wait until next week for that to be resolved. But yeah, it could have been a longer episode for me. I probably give it a 6 out of 10. But yeah. But I guess I'm a harsh grader. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I laugh, but I want more episode. It ended a bit abruptly. Also, this episode, a little bit of a spoiler, didn't have a tag at the end either. This is the first one they didn't have. So they didn't give us a tag. Plus, they cut like 4 to 5 minutes out of the episode from the previous episode. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It did not have a tag. Kept waiting for one. I mean, it is a long. I guess there's more episodes than the last few shows that we've gotten, because I think there's 9 episodes. So maybe over time it evens out, right? Yeah. Probably not, but at least some. But I feel like they're really going for those like old school comedy shows, because I feel like they're really leaning hard into like being a comedic show, even though at the core of it is still about identity, and like a sitcom comedy, because even a lot of the side characters, and we talked a little bit about this last week, the side characters, we don't know that much about them. And honestly, even in like 30-minute comedy show that we used to have, like Perfect Strangers, just because of her dad, you don't really know a lot about the side characters, so I feel like they're leaning into that like sitcom comedy vibe.
Yes, I understand what they're trying to do, but like their first show was also WandaVision, right? And even in WandaVision, the writers of that show understood that art form changed over time. So they ended with like Modern Family, which is structured very differently than the old sitcoms. So we still have sitcoms, but they're not structured like the old ones were anymore. So I don't know. It's funny, and it's working for me for the most part. But like I said, I think there's no reason to have an arbitrary 30-minute cut off, especially with the streaming show. There's no like hit going to the local affiliates or trying to fill advertising. There's no reason to have 30 minutes be the cutoff. Especially, I mean, and some of them aren't 30 minutes, so they could make them 45 or they can make them 40. So I don't know. My complaint is the same as last week. I want more show. I want more show. So, anyway, any other thoughts before we start digging into the specifics? No.
All
right. So, if you are enjoying the conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps out the channel. Also, comment down below. Did you love the episode? If you completely disagree with me. So, without further ado, spoilers ahead. Alright, so have screenshots. You want to go in chronological order? I mean, there isn't like a big reveal this time, so like we start off with
There's a big reveal at the end.
Well, a little bit, yeah. We didn't get an after credit scene, but we did get a little bit of a reveal. Jamil seems to be having fun with this character, this ridiculous commercial at the beginning. Even though I feel like the other thing that I didn't mention in the review is I thought that she would be in the show a little bit more than she actually is, given how much they advertised her in the show. So I thought she'd show up a little bit more. And I just noticed that I am showing up on the wrong camera. I'm not sure why that camera. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll fix it in a second. I'll switch. Yeah. So she sees the ads pop up everywhere. I think, and then she gets a visit from her cousin,
brother,
Ched.
Cousin.
Brother.
I think it's her cousin. It's a cousin, Ched. Yeah, he is starting to sell or hawk her stuff, or what he thinks is her stuff, like secondhand. Yeah, this is funny. I feel like this is funny for a couple reasons. It's just like stupid cousin, and then he says something that she obviously knows that she should have copyrighted her name, but like. I just watched this scene and I thought, okay, stupid cousin. I mean, he has a point, but she probably should have done that. But I saw this thing earlier today online, and like the people that like make it their job to hate this show have this whole breakdown where they thought that this was a whole comment on like mansplaining. And they got really upset about the fact that this was about mansplaining, and they're like, sometimes guys are just trying to be helpful. Like, really? I feel like they hate this show so much they could get a thesis, like they get a degree in this show. They're like analyzing every scene, looking for something to be upset about. It's ridiculous. It's funny and ridiculous.
That's probably a bit much. That's probably a bit much, but I think it's. I do like how, so much of the show is about identity and Jen Walters being in denial, for a while that she's different. That it's a very interesting spin, like a comedic spin, and this whole thing of like, Titania essentially taking her name for her to realize
that it was important to her.
That she is actually She-Hulk, and it's important to her. So I kind of love that. It's such a different way to cover identity and the importance of embracing this new part of yourself as a superhuman. That I thought it was just funny from that perspective, because we also just came off Miss Marvel, which was a much more serious take about identity, right? So I think it was kind of refreshing to see a lot of this.
Yeah,
and I also feel that it, actually, I kind of like the beginning title, the title sequence.
When it changes it, yeah.
Very good.
It's actually Jamil saying, like, she actually says She-Hulk by Titania at the beginning.
So funny. She's having a blast, like you said.
Yeah, she's definitely hamming it up and having a lot of fun. So I think she's going to show up again, because there is from the we haven't seen all the scenes that show up even in the trailer yet with her, because I think she has a fight with Jen at some point. So she's going to show up again. I mean.
Yeah, because I think I haven't really read She-Hulk comics, so I can't claim to know per se. But Titania is like her arch nemesis.
Yeah, she's supposed to be. Yeah. She's supposed to.
She is her arch. So I think you are right. I am also surprised that we haven't seen so much of her, considering it's like more than halfway through the series now.
3 episodes left. So it's a.
Yeah. 3 or 4, right? So, but I think she will be part. I would be surprised if she's not part of the remaining episodes. Her superpower in the comics is like super strength and stuff, and she's always trying to one up She-Hulk. But they've obviously modernized it by making her an influencer, which in itself is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun, and I think, like you said, I think Jameela is having a great time. I think Tatiana continues to have a great time. I like that we got a little bit more with Nikki this week, because Nathan, we talked about this last week about not getting to know a lot of the side characters, and I feel like there was a little bit more focus on Nikki this week, and Pug, I guess, in an extension, which was kind of fun. But yeah, I think the cast seems to all of them seem to be having a blast on the show, which is, it translates.
I think Nikki and Pug had got more to do, but they were still like focused on Jen, sort of. Like you got a little bit more about. Actually, you got a little bit more about Pug, I guess. The fact that he's into sneakers, he's a sneakerhead.
Sneakerhead.
Although he uses a weird term that I feel like is just created for this show, like drip
broker. No. He's not the drip broker. The drip broker is someone else. That's the thing.
He was, but he was using that term. It's like, I don't know if that's. I feel like that's like a television television writer trying to sound hip. It's super weird.
Well, I've heard, those of you that don't know, it's much more of a high teenager. Because I've taught teenagers, the last few years, and they understand when you say drip, they understand what you're talking about.
They understand, but they wouldn't come up with the term drip broker. I mean, I feel like I've heard the term the plug, which means someone who can get you what you need. But again, it sounded like a 30-year-old that overheard a 17-year-old and made up.
No, I definitely.
I'm trying to sound cool.
Exactly. I definitely would not use that language. No way.
Yeah.
Colin's gonna start using it next week with the kids.
No way, no.
It's.
I'm very secure about where I'm at.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to be hip with the teenagers anymore. No, I'm too old for them.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess it does establish both of them as like consumer obsessed. Like she
I did like the shoe comment though. It's like, oh, you are into shoes, and it's like, yeah, and then it's kind of he kind of flipped it on her, and he's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. I like that. That was actually pretty.
Yeah, I like their chemistry together. I mean, they play well off of each other, especially when they go and get the boba tea. The joke when she starts to speak Chinese and she's like, was I racist? Was I?
I feel so much shame.
Yes.
Yeah, but she was very accurate in her pronunciation and delivery.
Oh, there you go.
It was very, very good. It was very good. It was well done, actually. Yeah.
Sure.
Very good.
But he was already speaking to them in very clear English.
I know that, but I'm just telling you, in terms of you know the past, people butcher,
yeah, like just not even like the distant past, and like just a couple months ago when we were watching Moonlight and Ethan Hawke tried to speak Chinese, and everyone on the internet.
God.
I remember that.
So,
she actually did better. And,
she did better. Okay.
I think if anyone remember what was it, X-Men, Days of Future Past, like when Jennifer Lawrence spoke Vietnamese, I was like, wow, that was like a leaps and bounds. Like all of my people that know the language, they were like, oh my gosh, that was actually not that bad. So yeah.
It's funny you say that. Mine was always Harrison Ford speaking Hindi in Temple of Doom. Pronunciation terrible, but the fact that he even tried, I'm like, okay, Harrison Ford speaking my language, I will take it.
Awesome. So they actually go back to the back, and this guy is selling knockoff things, which you would probably find in like Times Square. Like, I mean, maybe with the bootleg stuff.
Apparently, there's this whole thing that people want that merchandise now to be actually sold on like Disney stores or whatever.
Yeah,
that would be so crazy. Just adding
people want the fake merchandise People are looking for ways to give Disney their money. Like, exactly. you want the knockoff merchandise too? Okay, you want the knockoff merchandise that Disney was making fun of, and you want to sell. And you want to buy it from Disney? Okay, sure.
Hey,
Yeah, it is. The picture is funny though. Like it's a shovel.
The Hulk is purple.
Yeah, the Hulk is purple. He has a shovel. Hawkeye's arrow there, you can see has like a claw or something. Oh, because he's supposed to be a hawk. I didn't even put that together.
Oh my gosh, that's I don't think I realized that Thor had a shovel. That's kind
Thor
of hilarious.
has a shovel, yeah. I don't even know what's on Black Widow's thing. I think I can't see. Even zooming in, I can't really see the.
It's like a crab, but I might be wrong.
But Captain America's shield has actual eagle on it. He looks more like a U.S. agent, really, or Homelander. He looks more like Homelander with the eagle and everything.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And Iron Man's doing like a reverse flash, reverse Iron Man.
Yeah. It's we got the Avengers and the Avengers. Same picture. And also Hulk has a mustache. So yeah, I guess they technically can't be sued by. I guess in this universe it wouldn't be Disney. They can't be sued by Stark Industries because I assume Tony has trademarked the Avengers.
Probably. We were talking about the whole trademark thing initially, and in my mind I was like, is that what they think about? Like, did Hulk really trademark his name? And like Steve Rogers woke up after being asleep for however many years, and he's like, I should probably trademark Captain America.
No, but like if you're a public figure, Tony probably had one of his lawyers take care of it. Like because what
For all-
just for image purposes, right? You don't want anyone else to claim to be you, especially when lives on the are on the line and things like that. So you want to control your image.
Tony would have, yes. I don't think Steve Rogers would have even thought about
No,
that.
I don't think
Tony,
he would have thought about it either. But once Tony bankrolled the team, like he said in I think Iron Man 2, not Iron Man 2, like Avengers 2. He's like, I just pay for everything and make everything. So like he's
Tony
yeah.
would have been here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, this I thought this was going to be Melvin. Like I if you saw Daredevil, the guy who put his suit together, Melvin, I thought this was going to be Melvin, but they went a different way. They went a sort of like an Edna from The Incredibles direction with this guy. In the show, his name is Luke Jacobson. But yeah. Anyway, so she's going to lose her job if she doesn't take care of it, and he's not going to let her take care of it herself. What's her name? Is it Mallory? Mallory
Book.
Mallory Book. So she's going to take care of it for her. She does have impeccable taste. Like she's a lawyer, but like she has some very.
I want entire wardrobe.
She still looks professional, but like it's very good. It's like
to the nines. She's dressed up to the nines.
Yeah.
She definitely does her work.
Yeah.
And they recognize it. I think there's even like Nikki and like Jen talk about it, like where does she shop kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, she is class.
I don't. So that's a ridiculous hat, but I don't know. It's definitely a statement. It's definitely a fashion statement. If you want people to look at you, you wear that hat. it's anyway. Yeah. So we hear. I think she puts Nikki on looking for her clothing, and she says she's already working on it. That's the thing that I was talking about that didn't get resolved. Like I wanted to see the suits. I guess we're going to see the suits at the beginning of the next episode. But like, I don't know. It's I don't know how much a big of a reveal that's going to be. I don't know what the next episode is going to be about. Disney has been dropping, I guess, previews like in the beginning of the week. So I guess we'll see at the beginning of the week.
We did see like in the trailers, I think we've seen her in like that silver dress, which is probably that extra something he made for her. But the suits, I'm weirdly kind of excited about seeing her in her new spandex.
Her new spandex suits. Yeah. He seems to be very proud of his work. So I guess I don't know how many stretches and reverts she's going to get out of those suits, but I assume that she's not going to have to go to him every month or whatever. So we'll see. It wasn't a large rack of clothes though. Like if it's supposed to be like, I think it's maybe a week and some change that he made for her, but we'll see.
Mix and match.
Yeah. She won't be as put together as Mallory, but she'll be better. She won't be dressed like Mallory said.
Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin, or like Mallory said, a football player pleading no contest to a DUI. So like that was funny. That was a good joke. Just because you conjure exactly the image in your head that she's talking about. You've seen that image with like an ill-fitting suit, and he's just yeah. Yeah, and again.
So I think we've met Mallory before, right? I think when Jen first joined the firm, they do like a hello hi, but I feel like this is the first episode we've seen her since.
We saw her when her a couple episodes back when her former colleague, the idiot what was like Megan Thee Stallion episode. Like he was like, I don't want her on the case. She might be a future wife. She's like, fine, I'm out of here. And that's the first and the last time we saw her, like 2 episodes back.
Okay. Yeah, I like the interplay that her and Jen have, right? Because Jen, I mean, I think Colin, you've talked about it before as well, like the focus on like the professional side of, you know, of being a woman, and I just think it's another kind of character that really kind of introduces them that Jen identifies with.
Yeah. They also play up. They also play up how tall Jamil is, but she's not that tall. I guess she's tall for the average height of a woman. She's like 5'10", and I guess she's wearing heels all the time. So when she's standing next to even dudes, she looks taller than them. But like, if She-Hulk is like 7 foot, they're gonna have to play with the camera a little bit to make it look like they're like a match, because she'll only be like 6 something even with heels. So. We'll see what they do there. We're getting a lot
it'll be curious because
feedback here.
With Titania, I mean, that's her whole thing, right? Like she always wants to be bigger and more powerful than She-Hulk, but she is supposed to be like a superhuman in her own sense.
Right.
So I wonder kind of when we'll see that supervillain part of this Titania. Whether it's gonna, I mean, it has to be in the upcoming episode.
I mean, she did bust into the courtroom through a wall in the first episode. I'm not sure how she got her lawyers to make that go away, but she was like, it's like destruction of public property. She did like hurl. It's like endangerment. She could have, if She-Hulk wasn't there, she could have hit the jury. So I don't know. I think they did have like a crawl at the end, like a couple episodes after that, or maybe the episode after that, saying that something about low blood sugar. So that's how that's how she got out of it. So yeah, they also are making for some interesting choices. Given that it's the same wardrobe team, they're making some really interesting choices with Titania's thing. They definitely have an aesthetic because they're not putting the same kind of clothes that they're putting on Mallory. They're very much more flashy and more like look at me. Usually with sequins or diamonds or whatever, something sparkly. So yeah. So what did you think of this character? I guess he might show up again, I guess. Luke Jacobson.
Yeah, I think that I feel that it's just I mean, there's some beats that are similar to other movies and other properties that we've seen in the past. So it wasn't that big of a surprise in terms of, because I've seen it before. Where it's like, it's unacceptable, oh, you're a mess in terms of your fashion, we really need a total upgrade. I think we've seen that type of beat many times in many, like I said, many properties. So it wasn't as surprising, but it was still okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but again, seen it before, the kind of ugly duckling turning into the beautiful swan type of thing, and this is the fairy godmother that's going to fix everything.
Although I will say that it was a little bit different, and like I said, it was less about what she looked like. I mean, some of it was about like what she looked like because he's like, is she going to be an Avenger? But it was more about like if she was a real superhero, like because she was like, I just need suits, and he's like, that's a waste of my talents. Like I have like armor and like fireproof clothing and stuff like that. So that was a little bit of a twist. It wasn't necessarily. I mean, I think he definitely is in cares about the aesthetics, but he also cares about like the utility. And Jen was more about and Jen was more about the aesthetics. He's like, you're wasting my time if it's just about the aesthetics. So yeah. And he only really started to care when he saw her transform back and forth.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
It's also that Nikki really kind of made a plug for her too. It's like, hey, this is a challenge for you too. It's not like It's not like you. It's not like any other ordinary. Like even with your exclusive clientele, this is actually a big challenge for you. You know, it will
Yeah.
kind of stretch your talents in a lot of ways. So kind
Yeah.
of put it out there. Like good job on Nikki's part. Kind of put it out there to say, hey, this is not anything that you've ever done before. So take it
Yeah.
up. Take this challenge up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like. I think you said, Nathan. I definitely got more Edna vibes than Melvin Potter.
Yeah.
But it was a fun. I guess it was a fun interplay, and it kept going back to like the whole thing of like, you know, Jen wants to hold on to her Jen Walters lawyer identity so badly, you know, even in a super like you have this opportunity to make yourself like this insane super suit that probably a handful of, you know, persons on the planet actually get to wear, and she just wants like the
Yeah, because she's a
business
lawyer.
to work.
She's still like deep in denial, even though like she's getting a suit
So-
specifically to protect her superhero name, but she's still like, I'm just a lawyer. It was like, yeah, she hopefully by the end she will accept herself,
Yeah. I
because
do-
it is starting to get a little tiresome, as well.
Yeah, I'm sure if they go in a second season, if like the subtitle is still gonna be attorney at law,
Yeah.
or if it's gonna be something.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, the fact that she's an attorney at law isn't a big deal to me. It's just that the fact that she's not embracing that she's also She-Hulk. That's again getting a little annoying, because her book was basically this, like, weird cases, and she was the one defending or she was the defense attorney for like weird cases, but she also like occasionally, because she's a Hulk, like random action would happen and she would have to fight. So yeah, it's more like a mix of like the last episode where we got a giant fight and also we got a court case. So
Yeah.
so this guy shows up again, and I think we talked about this last week. This guy was always a little weird. He was super obsessed about her, and apparently we find out that he has money. So I think we talked about him possibly being the guy who sent the wrecking crew after her, trying to get some of her powers.
Yeah.
So maybe it's him, maybe it's Titania, but like, the fact that he has money, and we didn't know last week that he had money, but if he is a client at this firm, he definitely has money. So and he also presented himself more nerdy last week than this week. He's more a little bit more douchey rich guy in this episode. So we'll see where that goes. I don't think this is the last time we'll see him. Yeah. I forget what this conversation was about.
This is kind of when Nikki was like, "Really, you wanted a date with that guy?"
Oh yeah, this is when she comes up with her yeah. Sorry, this is when she comes up with her strategy to publicly humiliate herself to win. So for all those people that were complaining about her publicly humiliating the guy, she's equal opportunity. She publicly humiliates herself as well. So yeah, she's Titania's very on the nose with the green. It's funny. So yeah, we get the parade of all the guys in the last episode, and also we get the where we also get the title of this episode, "The Mean Green," and straight poured into these jeans. Yeah. I think that
I also.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I like this because we talked about this last week. It's just funny to see the other side, like how these guys viewed the date, right? Because we got the perspective of how Jen viewed the date last week, and it's just funny to see their perspective now.
Yeah.
Especially the last guy, because we were talking about like, that was kind of a weird move from him at the end. So it was definitely an interesting callback to the last.
Yeah, definitely. And this guy, I thought she was. You're right to see the other side of it, because I thought he was insufferable with his I'm a writer thing, but I guess we didn't see her speaking about herself in the third person, which also would be very annoying if she was actually doing that. If she was doing that, like it doesn't make him any better, but like it would be it would be a turn off as well.
So basically, they're giving because they're giving that male perspective. Wonder what the haters are talking about now. It's like, oh, hey, we're giving you what you want. You know, we're not really being hateful to you guys. So what are you gonna say now? You know.
I feel like they're gonna talk about the conversation that they had in the bar, which even I thought was a little. We'll get to it. It's not necessarily preachy. It was just it seemed unnatural. It seemed like a little unnatural. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't really mind it that much, you know.
No, I mean, but I feel like it's also a beat that they hit earlier in the season, with Dennis. I think it was Dennis, the guy from his previous firm.
Yep.
Him being deluded about Megan Thee Stallion. Like I think it's basically the same point. Like this guy is so deluded he thought he could date Megan Thee Stallion, and then the point is, oh, this guy thinks they're so great, even though they're dating a superhero. It's basically the same point. The point was made already. Is what I would say. So yeah, this guy, I don't know. I feel like I what I said is still true. Like the way that he did it was rude, but like people like what they like. And he even says here that I don't mean to be rude. But yeah, it was interesting to see the other guys or the guy's perspective, like you said. She's also very thirsty here. I'm not sure because she dresses so well. She wants her to be her friend.
No.
Yeah. Tatiana Maslany is so tiny, like so tiny. Like the Jessica, I mean, she's supposed to be like 7 feet, so I guess this is a tall-ish woman, not as tall as Jamil, but like she's like maybe 5'7", and then she has heels on. But yeah, this is the conversation. I don't know. What did you guys think? I already said what I thought about this conversation. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really mind it that much. It's just, I just think that it was just kind of more admiration for her to see also like how polished she is and how professional she is, how well dressed she is. So she is almost as though she is the total package. And you know, I think that in a lot of ways, you know, having been a professional. You know, you do see people that are like that out there in the real world, but at the same time, you also don't notice how much work it takes to maintain that as well. It's like that whole adage about the swans. You know, you see the swan looking really really nice, but then at the bottom they're like paddling like crazy in order to like maintain that statuesque beauty. So it's that's how I kind of felt throughout. Even though it's like, yes, it's really admirable, and we compliment her by the ways that you know in terms of her legal expertise, in terms of her competence, in terms of her confidence in things. It's still almost like a mirage in some ways, but yeah, that's just kind of how I felt. And yes, it's great that you hero worship and you feel inspired as well, but there is also another downside to it at times that you don't necessarily actually see in the real world.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this last night, like not related to this because I hadn't seen this episode, but like I don't know. I feel like when it comes to fashion, it depends on your mindset. If you're doing this to try to keep up with other people, it can be exhausting. But if you're doing it just because, you know, it's fun to dress up, and you're really controlling it, and you don't really care what other people think, but it's it's fun to dress up, then I can imagine then you're not as stressed as the people are trying to keep up with other people.
Yeah. I actually didn't mind this kind of dialogue because I think it's like, Jen does kind of establish this relationship with Mallory, and she has her close-knit circle of like family, and she obviously has Nikki, but I think you can see like through the episode and in previous kind of interactions, like she does kind of respect Mallory in a way.
Mm-hmm.
She probably identifies with her in a lot of ways as well from a lawyer perspective and a female lawyer. So I think she wanted to be friends with her probably because there's also not that many, female lawyers that she can be friends with in this new firm.
Yeah.
So I think she's trying to build a relationship with a coworker, but also just like try and find someone that she just went through a humiliation with, bringing all these past dates, that she's actually just able to talk about it as a human and not as a client.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of like this interaction between both of them, and we'll see what the friendship actually gives her, because it's obviously a very different perspective to Nikki, who's clearly in her corner, versus I think, Mallory just kind of tells her probably a little bit more to her face as it is.
Yeah. I think she's not gonna sugarcoat things like Nikki might. I think Nikki is definitely in her corner. Like she recognizes that Jen has no fashion sense, but she still loves her. Whereas Mallory's gonna be like, pull yourself together. Oh. Anyway, so yeah, this is basically when the episode ends. Like I said, there isn't much to this episode that we don't get to see. We see that she gets a suit and he has something special. I assume something special is going to be the jumpsuit that she wears in the comics. And then we get the little tease here about Daredevil's helmet. So I guess he stopped. I guess Melvin is no longer making his stuff. Although last week on D23 we were going to do a D23 recap, but really didn't work out at the beginning of the week. I think they said that they're going to it's basically a reboot. They're not going to take any of the continuity from the whatchamacallit. So maybe Melvin doesn't exist in this universe, even though he was a character in the comics, which is why they had him in the show. I feel like this is very far away from where Matt lives to have him. Although I guess, like you said, Priya, there's probably only a handful of people on the planet that's getting suits made by this guy. So you got to go as far as you got to go to get the Kevlar super suits, the super suits that are flame retardant and combat ready and have weapons inside. Because unless you're an Avenger. And even if you were an Avenger, Tony isn't around anymore, so he can't make any suits. He can't give you any upgrades. So yeah.
I do wonder how Matt convinced him to make the suit, because he's not like Daredevil and Matt are not one for publicity at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like I gotta imagine he went through an intermediary, because he is really protective of his secret identity, unlike some other people. Exactly. In the Marvel universe, he and Peter are the only ones that really have a secret identity, really in the Marvel universe. I think everyone else is sort of like out in who they are. Like I can't think of anyone else besides Peter and Matt who have secret identities.
Well, that was kind of a go around though with Peter because of what happened with No Way Home. So it's kind of like
no. He had a secret. Even though people and the Avengers knew who Peter was. Like the world didn't know because that was the whole issue at the beginning of No Way Home. No one knew who Spider-Man was, and then Mysterio told the world who he was.
Right.
So yeah, he and Matt are the only ones with real secret identities. Like Luke Cage walks around using his name. Jessica Jones everyone goes around using their names. Secret identities are more of a DC thing, except for those two characters. I think. I mean, I might be forgetting someone, but I don't think. Oh well. Now that I think, like we also recently saw Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight's
Moon Knight, I mean, Kamala does try, but at the end of the day, she just has like a tiny thing over her eyes. So
Yeah,
not overplay that, but like
I feel like Kamala's like I don't even know if they should maintain that. Like I think Kamala's secret identity in the comics was to like so her parents wouldn't find out, but like in the MCU, her parents know. So like
yeah,
yeah.
true.
Unless they want
Nightlight, remember?
huh?
Was it the Nightlight? That was her thing.
Yeah, Nightlight. Yeah. So like, unless she just wants to keep the government off her back, I don't see a real need for her to maintain a secret identity if her parents know in the MCU. But we'll see if they maintain that. Yeah. So I guess they have introduced a few characters very recently that have secret identities. With Kamala and Moon Knight.
But I will say Murdoch and Peter they definitely go to like a whole other extent to protect their secret identities.
Yeah.
Like
they have full.
That's so cool. Character.
They have nearly full on masks. I mean, I guess Deadpool does as well, but Deadpool the mask really is to hide his scars. I don't think he really cares. I don't think he really cares who knows who he is. He doesn't want people to see his scarred face. So yeah.
So I do have a question on the Daredevil mask because I couldn't see because it was quick. Like, is the color different or is it just wrapped?
No, it's yellow. It's yellow.
It is like a yellow.
Yeah. It's a goldish yellow. You can see if I could zoom in here. Yeah.
Yellow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a goldish.
It's gonna be fun. So, do you guys think we're
definitely gonna see? Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna see Matt in the next episode, and we'll see Matt. We'll see Matt in the next episode, and we'll also probably see Daredevil in the next episode as well. I don't know what the next case is going to be, but Matt is probably going to be involved in the next case, whatever it is. What is this? Vondra's.
It always has, and like the whole time I'm like, is that? I was like, that must be something because it said Avengers, and it kept being like that must come up. So when it came up this episode, I'm like, okay, now that makes sense.
Okay, so I think some of this is from previous episodes. There are some new things here, like the
Like this one.
and her cousin, Chad. Oh, and this is also
Booty boost.
Her boss. Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about that because there was a lot of controversy about the booty shaking, with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, and then like Stanley, like there's people that said Stanley wouldn't stand for it. I'm like, no, you're wrong, because there are many. I think that he created a couple of characters that were like that. Let's just say that they were highly sexual in nature before.
I mean, I mean, he's created a character called Stripperella. So yes,
exactly.
He does. So like.
Exactly, and
that was Pam Anderson. I mean, inspired character called Stripperella.
Right,
so.
And also he did make a gratuitous cameo in Deadpool. I mean, come on. So it's like, all that stuff is just
yes. He had a sense of humor.
Pure toxic hatred. Like it's not really even that true because it's like he knew how to play the tongue-in-cheek type of thing before. So it's like, come on, just stop it.
So like there are all these Easter eggs in here, and people are like super excited about them. Like beyond the Tony reference here with the whatchamacallit, you can see the Thing back here. You can see Captain Marvel shoes. These are Cyclops shoes. You see the visor.
Oh yes.
What else do they have here? I think they have Storm shoes. I think these are Storm.
How do they have Cyclops shoes? That's something to think about. I don't know about that.
Cyclops.
He's in the MCU already. That's
I think people are just. I think the artist is just having some fun here. Because I don't think anyone should read too much into too much into any of these
Wait,
these
that
shoes
would
in
be
the
kind of
background.
weird. That would be kind of weird. Scott Summers just took those shoes and then just like, okay, I got inspired by these shoes. Make me a costume that's like that and become Cyclops.
Maybe
That would
they
be
even
very, very like, role reversal type of reversal type of thing.
yeah. I think these are supposed to be like Black Panther here in the corner, and this looks like the symbol that's on Nova's chest, right? So
I believe so.
the three circles with the lines. I think that's,
that is from Guardians.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that's Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the one above it? Because it's obviously it reminded me of the Flash, but then I was like,
The
no,
E.
Flash is
I have
DC.
I have
But
no
the
I
one
have no
above-
idea. It's very it's a
Could be
little.
Iron Man? No.
No. This one.
Okay.
No.
That's just could be random shoe.
It looked like
Yeah, yeah.
flames.
There could be
like,
Sunstar. Could be
Yeah.
Sunstar or Sunspot or Sunstar.
Maybe.
One of the X-Men.
I'm trying to think who's red and white, and all I can think of is like Canadian superheroes, but I don't remember any of them off the top of my head. Huh?
Indicator from
Yeah.
what's it? That Canadian force that Wolverine was.
Yeah. G-Force, not G-Force.
no. I don't remember the name of it.
Alpha Flight is what you're talking about.
Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight.
Is it
Yes.
Alpha Flight?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think it looks like someone who's in Alpha Flight, but I can't remember all the characters that are in Alpha Flight.
I only remember Vindicator.
Yeah. I guess that picture is a little clearer. Maybe you can see it from there. No, I can't really tell. From there. What it's supposed to be. But I think they were just having fun. I don't think this is oh, there's also a Deadpool shoe over here. I don't
Yeah, I think
there's a Deadpool shoe right here. So like I definitely don't think this is them introducing Deadpool, Cyclops, the Thing. I think this is just a fun whatchamacallit with a thing.
Just fun. It's like the last episode where it was like she was going through her to-do list and she did her she picked like update dating profile because there were so many like just fun Easter eggs in that to-do list. So I think it's just kind of like that, just tongue in cheek, because you know what's in there, but it's not trying to be doing this like grand narrative of like now we have the X-Men.
Although it does look like she is, I don't know if this is from the previous episode or if she's still talking to this guy, because he did say that he's interested in She-Hulk, and she technically is She-Hulk. She's starting to accept that she sees
that thing has been in every
this
in
thing.
every
Oh, okay,
cutscene.
with this guy. Okay, and so the shield logo was always there as well. Okay, I didn't know.
Oh, that I don't know. I just remember seeing like that she was doing online dating thing.
So I know the Venice Beach thing has always been there as well. Yeah, and this as well. I think all these are things from previous episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, no
Yeah,
extra
no
scene,
extra
unfortunately.
scene.
Yeah, that was the last thing. So yeah. All right. So, any other thoughts? Like I think we covered everything. Looking forward to Matt showing up next week. And him having more lines than I'm a really good lawyer. So, we'll see. I can't remember if they actually, like, She-Hulk has been with a lot of people in the comics. Not to shame her or anything. It's just like she's been with so many people that I can't remember if she's ever been with Matt.
I don't think she's been with Matt. I think I saw something online that it wasn't Matt was not one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. So it's not like a romantic thing.
I think that it's pretty established that it was Elektra that pretty much is.
Right, but for this show, I feel like Jen, the way that they're writing this show, is definitely going to be attracted to Matt. We'll see if how that plays out. Yeah.
Yeah. We did. Was it with D23? Was it before where they did release that preview and she kind of, I don't remember the line that she uses, but she kind of was like, that's my kind of man, pretty much. Or I'm a fan or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised, because I also feel like if they are rebooting it, you know, like Daredevil, they might also be trying to do something new with Daredevil, because like the Elektra story has been told in the terrible movie that shall not be named, and then also in the TV show. So maybe they're also just trying to loosen up that, you know, the Daredevil kind of show as well a little bit with some light
we'll see.
comedy.
I don't know. People have complained about what they did with the Kingpin. They thought that they made him weaker, or not weaker. Actually, they made him stronger, but they made him less threatening, and less edgy. And you know, the Daredevil comics were always about his him going out and doing all this heroism because of his Catholic guilt. So he's always like a tortured person, similar to Peter, who's always down on his luck. Like not in the same way, but like they're not like Peter makes jokes a lot, though, and I don't know if that Matt does. He makes some jokes. He's not that jokey. We'll see how they play with him in the next episode.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, if there's nothing else, that is what we think. We want to hear what you guys think. So comment down below, like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next week live. And tomorrow, actually, we're going to be reviewing The Rings of Power around the same time. All right, guys. Bye.